Hello chess friends and welcome to Zadov's chess channel and welcome to the Opera Rapid Chess Tournament in 2021. We're now back in the match game between Daniil Dubov and Magnus Carlsen. If you don't know, after 2 days the result was equal. Magnus Carlsen and Daniil Dubov had to play these additional games. They were of course blitz games. Let's see now what happened. Really wild stuff happened already in the game 1. So let's check out. It was a really incredible chess game. So here Magnus opened with the move e4. So e5 by Daniil Dubov, knight to f3, knight to c6, bishop to c4, the Italian game. We have knight to f6, so we have seen this opening line many times between the two of them. Here Magnus goes again d3, and Daniil Dubov goes like he used to in this match game against Magnus Carlsen with the move h6, preventing bishop to g4, g5 pinning ideas. Here Magnus goes now again into this knight to c3 line, allowing again Daniil Dubov the spinning idea, which we have seen already in the match game, in which Daniil Dubov won the game against Magnus Carlsen, and Magnus Carlsen laughed in one particular moment when he pulled off this great tactic against Daniil in this line. He shouldn't have laughed before, because we know that Magnus Carlsen is of course maybe the slightly better player, but Daniil Dubov will always find good ways, even if he was maybe down some material. But Daniil Dubov is always finding nice attacking possibilities. After bishop to b4, we have again castling by Magnus, and again bishop takes c3. We have again this double pawn structure we have talked about it already. Still, this bishop's activity by white is perfectly fine. This bishop can get activated, and now Daniil Dubov also goes with castling. Bishop to b3. We have talked about also this move. If knight to a4, knight to a5, knight takes b3, then a takes b3, then the a file get open. We can play bishop to e3. Here again Daniil Dubov plays this move d5. We've seen this move also already after e takes d5, knight to d5, and now again Magnus Carlsen plays this h3 move. Although the engine suggests you here even the move knight c4, then you have to again retreat with the knight, and then rook to e1 attacks. Maybe if you try bishop to g4, this bishop can get kicked away with h3 g4, and maybe we can grab now this pawn. So it would be a simple attack against this e5. White is slightly better here, but now Magnus goes with h3, this prophylactic idea to never allow black the spinning on g4, and now Daniil Dubov simply grabs a pawn. And here Magnus goes all in, queen to e1. This game is already sharp from move 11. We're now in move 11, and it became really a nice tactical battle in the game. Knight to d4 played by Daniil Dubov. What he's trying to do is of course knight takes f3, g takes f3, and then bishop to h3. Of course this pawn on de5 is hanging, but it's not the point about this pawn, of course. This is now a very nice central control with both of these knights. Of course, you cannot also take queen takes c3. You get knight to e2, a fork. Daniil Dubov found really great ways here to attack the world champion, and here black is already much better. In the game, Magnus took knight takes e5, and now knight from c to e2. We have now the check, and look how the knights are dancing around the world champion. Now there are basically two choices. You can play king to h2 or king to h1, and Magnus makes now a huge blunder. He plays the move king to h1. A better idea is king to h2. Why is that so? Because first of all, you're getting, I think, a more compact position because you're closer to both of your pawns, and that's a huge difference now in the continuation of the game. Here after the move knight to e2 and king to h1, Daniil Dubov pulled off a beautiful tactic, bishop to h3, and it's a correct tactic. It's not one of this sometimes Dubov plays this tactics which are inaccurate. This is a beautiful bishop sacrifice. Magnus has now to react, g takes h3, and now knight takes b3. Of course you have to take out one of these knights, queen to e2, and now very nice move here by Magnus, by Daniil Dubov, queen to d5. If you try here, of course, to compete, then we get queen to e5, and you lose the rook. So you have to do something else here. Magnus played now the move king to h2, and you see now if this king would have been on h2 already, then this tactic wouldn't work here for Daniil Dubov. After move king to h2, knight to a1. Although probably a better way is simply to proceed instead of this knight to a1, simply to proceed knight to d4, maybe getting first this knight out of the game somehow, or maybe threaten something like queen to e5 followed with knight to f3. So Daniil Dubov took the rook. It's not the worst of choices. It's still a better position, of course, for black. Still, Magnus needs many tempi in order to grab the knight, and now Magnus plays bishop to b2, and we have now rook to e8. Although f6 is here the best move. The problem is now you have to get rid of Magnus Carlsen's pieces. The pieces are very active. This is a very centralized knight. It controls, of course, many good squares here. Here Daniil Dubov allows now Magnus Carlsen to get back into the game, because Magnus has now the opportunity to counterattack here with rook to g1, and suddenly there is this move queen to g4 and a very nice threat around the square g7. Here f6 comes now a little bit too late, so you see Daniil Dubov was simply one move too late, and Magnus goes now with queen to g4. We have g5. If you try here rook to e7 to defend, it's not a problem. You get simply knight to g6, the fork, and this is a much better position for white. Still, we have a very powerful attack. This bishop is very dangerous combined with this rook and queen battery. It would be, I think, game over. So here, after move queen to g4, g5, but now Magnus sneaks in, and here Daniil Dubov makes a new mistake. He should have probably simply taken a rook takes e5, getting back some material. After queen to g6, I think Magnus would only have here some perpetuals. So after remove queen to f5, Daniil Dubov makes a huge mistake. He plays now rook to e7, and again we have this fork possibility, knight to g6. We have queen to d6 to check, rook to g3. Magnus covers everything, and now after knight to c2, see Daniil Dubov is trying to get back with this knight. Knight to f8. We have knight to d4. If you take, for instance, here king to f8, then here bishop to f6 would be a possibility, because after you have to move up the king, there are no discover attack possibilities. It's a bad game here for black. So really wild stuff, how one move can really change things. Here Daniil Dubov tried to get back with knight to d4, and here Magnus Carlsen simply played bishop takes d4. We have queen to d4, and now knight to e6. Here Magnus Carlsen has not the opportunity to get this knight back. We have queen to e5, and now Magnus goes queen to g6, king to h8, and now we have a new check, and here in this position Daniil Dubov resigned. Let's see the possible continuation, what can happen here. King to h7, we can take out the rook, and it's a forced checkmate here with queen to d7. You can maybe cover, but now here maybe king to f4, and now queen to f6. It's game over. So really wild stuff. What happened, Daniil Dubov outplayed the world champion in a great tactical battle, and as I said, you should avoid to go into tactical battles against Daniil Dubov. Here Daniil unfortunately missed his chances. He should have played this move f6 in order to attack the king, then the knight, attack the knight, then the knight would have to retreat, and Magnus could not pull off this g-file attack. Beautiful chess game, but this is blitz chess. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but it was really beautiful game. We'll see now what will happen in the second game. Daniil Dubov has to make now a win in order to make it to the Armageddon game. If you have followed this match game, nothing is clear, because Daniil Dubov can still beat the world champion in every single game. So okay, I hope that you enjoyed this game. Again, really wild stuff. If you want to see the battle between the two of them, check out my coverage so far. Here's the link. And if you want to see some other content on my YouTube chess channel, check out my commented chess games played by computers and maybe the best chess games of all times. Here are the links. And if you like this content, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you soon with some more videos, and chess is the best, of course.